why I had worked and fought so hard for the birth and the creation of our young nation. Let me just take a little time to refer briefly to some of the things that I did towards achieving our political independence. In 1969, I met with our leaders, church leaders in Bougainville, and they informed me that I was to go to attend the World Council of Churches in Stuttgart, West Germany, because at that time, the only international organization that was supporting movement for political independence was the World Council of Churches. From there, I went on to seek support in Holland, the United Kingdom, before I flew to the United States of America, including Washington, D.C., New York City, and Los Angeles in California. Why? Now let's go on with the business of today. Of course, September 16, 2025 has been and gone. And even all the fireworks, which had cost millions of kina, is but a distant memory. And we may ask why. The reality is that when I had opposed a statement to the Australian Prime Minister, the Honourable John Kaputin, that Matauanism is nationalism on the horizon. In July 1970, many of our current leaders were not even born at that time. And if history is a guide that should illuminate our political path for the future, no wonder we find ourselves in a situation where the blind is leading the blind. The national statement, unfortunately, made no reference to our political path since annexation in 1884. And we may, if we do so, know the history since 1884. How can we move forward to deal with the stumbling hurdles that from the colonial era? Some evidence to take into consideration. I hope you don't mind me repeating some of these people, because I doubt if many of you are even 45 years old, or maybe younger. So this is by way of information to you. Following the annexation of New Guinea by the Germans, over 40% of the land on the Gazelle Peninsula of New Britain was alienated by the Germans, and only 3% in the rest of the territory, according to the brief provided to the Prime Minister, the Honorable John Kaputin, before he visited Rabaul in 1970. How do we know this? I had to go through the Australian archives to secure documents that gave me some ideas of the thinking of the Prime Minister at the time. Who subsequently freed by the senior stipendiary. I'm referring to those of the Matawan Association that were arrested by the police and thrown in prison. And let me inform you that we are very lucky that our universities, through our universities, we have now lawyers who can represent our people. But imagine at that time, when the only lawyers that we have were white lawyers from Australia who did not volunteer to represent our people who were arrested and thrown into prison. It wasn't for the effort by one courageous senior stipendiary magistrate of Rabaul, Mr. Paul Quinlivan, who was subsequently mistreated by the Australian colonial administration and Canberra. In August 1958, two young Tolai men from Nawuraram village were shot dead at the hands of the Australian and Territory Police, and several others were injured when the Australian administration was introduced. Had to introduce a head tax, which was rejected by the village people. This unjustified tax, every man, women, and children was to be paid to the administration regardless of their ability and capacity to pay tax. Since I was still at the Rockhampton Grammar School in Queensland, Australia, when I heard the news of the killings on the ABC News broadcast, I was very hurt and sad for our people. The way white Australians had treated both the Tolai people and the Chinese people were demeaning and totally unacceptable to me. When I was elected a member for Rabaul in 1972, I did not hesitate to use my political authority to help all the people in Rabaul, including the Chinese population. In fact, the Chinese people had developed commerce to a level which resulted in Rabaul becoming the major commercial center of the territory between 1950 and the violent twin volcanic eruption in 1994, which devastated the town and surrounding areas. Fourth point that I would like